Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Anthony Salic, the Mandalorian Chapter 20 review. This is Season 3, Episode 4, I believe. Right, yeah, because I missed a week of the review, so I had to do 2 in 1. But now we're back to our regularly scheduled program with Episode 4. So, interesting episode this week, and I have to say, I very much enjoyed it. I talked about how last week. Oh, and before we get started, be sure to subscribe. I forgot to mention that. But I mentioned last week of how episode 3 was sort of like this different sort of Andor Book of Boba Fett way in which they sort of focus on another character and a whole nother story. Whereas this episode really focuses on two sort of points, which is Grogu and rescuing the foundling. So another thing to note, this episode was directed by Carl Weathers, who we've seen in the show already. So it's nice to see that some of the actors are actually getting the opportunity to direct. It was a great episode. It was very short. It was about, not including the intro and credits, probably somewhere around like 27 minutes of like content. But it's like straight fire content. It's amazing. So, all right, let's break it down. So the episode actually begins with Din Djarin, Mando, making Grogu compete in this Mandalorian fight that includes him and a foundling shooting paint darts at each other. And sort of Mando's whole point is that he wants to sort of train Grogu to understand the ways of the Mandalore and to sort of get him practice to start fighting. So they go through this really fun segment in which Grogu actually uses the Force and he's able to sort of outsmart another foundling. So we then move on to where we see this giant mythological dragon actually kidnap the foundling and pretty much take the kid back to his lair. And so they end up making a whole plan on trying to rescue this foundling. And the whole point is that they have to go in stealthily, otherwise if they make noise, the dragon will end up eating the foundling. So before we actually get to that, they actually do a really, really interesting segment that I know a lot of the prequel fans are going to love. So they they move forward to I don't even know what her name is. She's just like the main Mandalorian lady. I don't even know what her name is. I feel bad that I don't know her name is. But basically, the head of the Mandalorian people. I don't know. I don't even know what she's called. I'm sorry. She's making new armor for Grogu. And as she's making the new armor, every time that she was sort of forging his armor, we get flashbacks of Grogu's time in the Jedi Council, and then we actually get a literal whole flashback to the events of Order 66, which we see Grogu. We actually get to find out how he escaped. So he was with a bunch of Jedis during the events of Order 66. They all get gunned down by a bunch of clone troopers, and then we get the reveal that he was actually saved by a new, never before seen Jedi who I don't know. I don't think we ever get the name of him, but he's basically this he's this black male Jedi who actually goes on to save Grogu. They go on this high, they go on this part where this Jedi has to fight a bunch of clone troopers, so you actually see him using dual lightsabers to actually deflect some of the blasts. We actually see them go on a high-speed chase throughout the city. It's beautifully made, and it gives us sort of an insight of like Order 66 is like way bigger than we already know, and especially because throughout Star Wars we have seen so many different perspectives that like it's sort of like it's this big event that I don't think people realize like how serious it was when it comes to Star Wars. Because like before we just got Obi-Wan and Yoda's perspective, but then we get to see a whole bunch of like perspectives during like the Clone Wars and Rebels and now Mandalorian, and it's really, really cool to see this. So we see Grogu, he ends up escaping, and He ends up escaping with this new Jedi. We still don't know his name, but he's a pretty cool character. And that's pretty much all they give us. They sort of just tease a little bit about what happens to him after the events of Order 66. So we then flash forward, and then we get to the rescue mission, rescuing the foundlings. We get to see Bo-Katan, Mando, Paz, which is like the really big Mandalore with the minigun, who's actually played by Jon Favreau. So we see them pretty much trying to rock climb this mountain in order to get on top of the nest. They eventually do, but then they end up finding out that there's actually 3 little dragon birds, basically 3 little baby dragons that are there. And then we see the mother, which I'm guessing is the mother, come in, throws up the actual foundling, and then they pretty much go on this big old jetpack versus dragon fight to rescue it. They eventually do, and it's really, really well done. I mean, like, shout out to Carl Weathers, man. He did a great job with this episode, and it really, as short as it was, definitely like a bunch of stuff was in it. You know, things revolving around the prequels, things revolving around the way of the Mandalore, things revolving around sort of Grogu evolving a bit on his own, trying to sort of understand the world of the Mandalorians and stuff like that. And we actually sort of see this big old jetpack fight with it, and it's really, really cool. I really did enjoy this episode, as short as it was. But pretty much we end up finding out that this foundling is also Paz's son. So Jon Favreau in this universe, I guess, has a son in it, in which he's also a Mandalore. So I guess that's really, really cool to see that even Mandalorians can have children. The only question I wonder is like how is that even possible? Like, does he have a mom? Is his mom a Mandalore? Like, these are some questions that I hope we get answers to, but we'll see. And the episode ends with Bo-Katan telling, again, I don't know her name, telling the armor lady that she encountered a living mythosaur down in the mines of Mandalore, which is the monster that we saw drag Din Djarin down, I believe, in episode 2. So maybe there's going to be something that they deal with that, or maybe it was just a cool little Easter egg. Overall, solid episode. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I honestly did love this episode because it just brought out, you know, if you're a fan of the prequel stuff, you got a little bit of that. If you're a fan of the Mandalorian stuff, you got a little bit of that. If you're a fan of Grogu, you got a little bit of that. It was just a great sort of balanced episode, and I think that if they continue with more of this type of stuff, and again, I'm still wondering because we're 4 episodes in, and we know that we're going to be getting a fight for Mandalore between Mando and Bo-Katan, more specifically over the lightsaber and the rule of Mandalore. So I'm just wondering, how are they going to get through that? And we got 4 episodes left, so if anything, they have to start revving the storyline. They have to start going fast with the storyline. I hope they don't rush it, but, you know, who knows? But I really did enjoy this episode. Overall, better than last week's episode, wholeheartedly. I probably gave last week's episode like a 7. This is a solid 8.5. It's short, it's quick, it's fun, but it gets the job done, and I couldn't ask for anything more. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I know that I've been trying to make more episodes of these, but I've been a little bit busy. I'm trying to do more Marvel stuff and more behind the scenes things, but it's been really compact. But I really do love this show, and this is one of the cool things about doing this, is that I get to sort of share my thoughts, but hopefully I get to do more of this stuff. But in the meantime, guys, anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please let me know in the comments, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. My name is Anthony Salic, and I will see you all next time. Peace. Okay, breaking news. So I just found this out. Literally, I'm recording this like right after but I found out the guy who played Jar Jar Binks in the prequels is actually the same guy who played the Jedi who saved Grogu. I'm literally like, I just found this out on Twitter, but That's amazing, dude. Because I'm gonna go on a quick tangent, but basically, the guy who played Jar Jar Binks got so much hate after the prequels came out. Literally, it drove him towards a path of, I believe, suicidal. Like, I truly do believe he went towards a suicidal route because of the negative effects that he had playing Jar Jar Binks, and it's a role that ruined his career. But the fact that he literally now is in Star Wars and he played the Jedi that saved Grogu, that's so awesome and that's so wholesome. Literally, it sucks because Jar Jar, I'm not the biggest fan of Jar Jar, but if the guy who plays him is able to get another shot and literally is able to be in The Mandalorian and play a dope ass Jedi, that's awesome. So I just had to quickly rant about that. I just found this out. That was so sick. I'm so glad that they gave the man who played Jar Jar Binks another chance. Love this. It makes the episode way better. 9 out of 10. I'm sorry. Thank you guys. See you.